Good day. I'm recording this on February 13th, which just happens to be my birthday, but the actual is for February 2nd. I'm still getting caught up. I can't do it as fast as I thought I would be able to do, but I'm getting there. And today we're going to be doing John 11:17 through 20, and Proverbs 2. And we begin. John 11, starting at verse 17. When Jesus arrived, he found that Lazarus had already spent 4 days in the tomb. 18. Now Bethany was near Jerusalem, a little less than 2 miles away. 14. And many Jews had come to Martha and Mary to console them in their loss of their brother. 20. So when Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went out to meet him, but Mary stayed at home. 17. Okay, verse 17. When Jesus arrived, he found that Lazarus had already spent 4 days in the tomb. So, Jesus got word that Lazarus was sick. He spent 2 days where he was, and then he went to where Lazarus was, and by the time he got there, it had been 4 days in the tomb. So, he's actually in the area of the tomb, not the actual town itself, and it's more of a sepulcher, which is, I don't know why I put that down. Anyways, he's in a cave, and they're usually buried the same day. 18. Now Bethany was near Jerusalem, a little less than 2 miles away, which is basically a Sabbath walk. 19. And many of the Jews came to Martha and Mary to console them in the time of the loss of their brother. Many from among the Jews. These would also be Jesus' opponents. There's usually 30 days of mourning, of sadness, 3 of weeping, 7 of lamentations, and 20 of mourning. So they're being consoled. So they're in the lamentation part. 20. So when Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went out to meet him, but Mary stayed at home. Martha most likely was the older one, and she was in charge of all the arrangements and stuff like that. Proverbs 2. My son, if thou wilt receive my words and lay up my commandments with thee, in other words, listen to what I'm telling you. 2. So that thou make them ear tender to wisdom, and thy heart inclined to discernment, so that you be able to listen to wisdom and know what's right and wrong, what's good and better, and what's better and best. 3. Yea, if thou call for understanding and lift up thy voice for discernment, in other words, if you ask for it, if thou seek for his silver and search for his hid treasures, in other words, just to go, hey, can I have something? No, you go searching for it. 5. Then thou shalt understand the fear of Yahweh, and find the knowledge of Elohim. If you do these things, then you'll be wise. 6. For Yahweh giveth wisdom. Out of his mouth comes knowledge and discernment. All godly wisdom comes from God. Makes sense? And all useful, all non-worldly wisdom comes from God. 7. He layeth the sound wisdom for the upright. He is a shield to them that walk in integrity. 8. That he may guard the paths of justice and preserve the ways of his godly ones. 9. Then thou shalt understand righteousness and justice and equity, yea, every good path. Once you delve into it, once you get the knowledge of God, fear of Yahweh, you will find out. Fear is basically reverence and worship and proper respect of God, of Elohim, of Yahweh, and the knowledge of Elohim. Be wise, because Yahweh gives us wisdom. Then you shall understand righteousness and justice and equity and every good path. You'll know what you're supposed to do. 10. For wisdom shall enter thy heart, and knowledge shall be pleasant to thy soul. Your wisdom will enter your heart, and it will be good, and knowledge will be pleasant. 11. Discretion shall watch over thee, discernment shall guard thee. You should be cared for and guarded. 12. To deliver from the way of evil, from men that speak froward things. In other words, rebellion and hurtful things. 13. Who leave the path of righteousness, to walk the ways of darkness, that they go toward evil. 14. Who rejoice to do evil and delight in the frowardness of evil. They just love what they're doing, don't they? 15. Who are crooked in their ways and perverse in their path, twisted. 16. To deliver thee from the strange woman or man. Woman is used here for contrast. He's talking to his son. Even from the alien woman who maketh smooth her words. Sweet talker, smooth talker, a player, an enticer. 17. That forsake the Lord of her youth and forgotten the covenant of her Elohim. 18. For her house sinketh down unto death, and her paths unto the shades. You go with her, you live with her, you be with her, you be going to death. 19. None that go unto her return until they attain the path of life. Once you're there, you're there. 20. That thou mayest walk the way of good men and keep the paths of upright. That's what God was trying to get you to do, walk the ways of good men. 21. For the upright shall dwell in the land, and the wholehearted shall remain in it. 22. But the wicked shall be cut off from the land, and the faithless shall be plucked up out of it. If you're one of God's people, you'll be able to stay in the land. If you're an evil person, which means you don't follow God, you don't believe in God, you don't worship God, you don't reverence God, you'll be destroyed. I hope you've been blessed by this reading. May the Lord richly bless you. Remember, if you'd like to be tagged when I post these videos, or if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, complaints, or anything else, you may reach me through 810-242-2997, 810-242-2997. You can call, text, leave a message, whichever you like. Don't forget to check out my new page, No Other Gospel. And remember, Jesus loves you, and so do I.